Okay, so I'm back again. What happened is you sort of like get a activation email sent to you, and then you have to activate your account after you've put in a password. Um, and then what happens is you have to tick a box to say that you agree to their terms and conditions. And this is what it should kind of look like when you're setting up a new drawing, or sort of like this is the sort of your dashboard. So I'm just actually going to create new, and I'm going to go for millimeters, and I've just was doing a bit of modeling previously. I'm not going to do that model anymore, so I'm not going to save any changes. Okay, we've got this lady here on our mobile phone. So what you have here is you have quite a simplified looking toolbar on the left side, and you've also got this toolbar on the right. This is kind of a streamlined version of what we've been using at school, but if you click on any of these with your left mouse button, you'll see that they expand into a number of choices. Also, I've just had my materials pop up, I don't know why. So let's just go through these. Okay, so this is a selection tool. Well, this is obviously, well, that's some sort of a help tool. It's pretty handy. Switch that off again. So we've got a selection tool, we've got an erase tool, we've got the that's why the materials came up, because I want to this can actually take a color from an existing side. You can use this as a paint filling tool. I'm just going to put that back again. And what else have we got here? We've got the line tool, we've got an arc tool. So what we've got for the line tool, we've got like straight lines, squiggly lines, different types of arc tools. We've got our sort of square tool, which I like to use the most to start off. We've got our push-pull tool, we've got the follow me, and you've got the offset. You've got these different types of combination tools. You've got the move tool, rotation tool, scaling tool. You've got if you want to add measurements to things, and this is especially important in your NEA because you'll be asked to put dimensions on everything. You can do walkthroughs, so you can do little animations. These are the sort of like move tools and orientation tools. Now usually when I go to orbit, I actually hold the roller on my mouse, and that way I can actually sort of orbit around, and I also use the roller on my mouse to zoom in and out. If you don't have that function, you can use the zoom in and out, so you can kind of click in and out on that. This I find very helpful as well, the pan tool. Yeah, I believe that is called the pan tool. Yeah, to pan, great. So I was just looking actually, because I don't have any sketches or anything, and I know that you've all done some really great sketches for some ideas for a safe and comfortable home. I'm going to start with this baby barrier. Maybe some of you have got a sibling at home who's smaller, and you want to create some sort of like a way which is, of keeping that baby safe. So what I'm going to just start off with doing is to draw a square. Now, if you remember correctly, before I click away from that, and I hope I can still do this, yes I can, I'm going to put this at 1 meter. Oh, actually, let's just put in these values. I'm just going to try putting in 1100 by 1100. So that's like 1 meter and 10 centimeters. Yeah, because obviously millimeters is 10 times more than a centimeter, and there's 100 centimeters in a meter. So this is my size. What I'm going to now do is I want to actually just look at this, so from above. So I'm just going to use the orbiting tool, and I'm going to look down on it, and I'm going to use the line tool. The line tool is really amazing on Sketchup, because what it does is it allows you to intuitively find center points. And if we look back at this picture, this is, let me see, this is a hexagonal shape. I think I'm going to make this octagonal by going across and finding a few different midpoints. Okay, and I'm going to explain my method here in just a moment. So we've got those midpoints. I'm just going to make triangles now, and this is suddenly sort of octagonal. It's not perfectly symmetrical octagonal, but it'll do. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to rub away those lines I don't need. And I'm left with this lovely, nice octagonal shape, which I'm now going to use the push-pull for to create a sort of a base. And I'm going to make it a base of 20 millimeters. So remember, when you're typing in a distance, a depth, anything like that, you can't have clicked away on the mouse, because if you click away on the mouse, as far as SketchUp's concerned, that's what you wanted, that's the value that you wanted to put in for it. So I'm just going to put in 20. Okay. I'm now going to use, yes, there it is, offset, and I'm just going to go on the inside of this, and once again, before I actually click on my mouse, I'm just going to put 20 again. Okay, just keeps everything nice and equal so far. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this using the roller on my mouse, and I'm just going to push pull this, which is back here again. Quite like this interface actually. I'm going to push pull this up. Let's see, let's just scale out for a sec before I click away. I think that's probably enough. Oh, you see, look, that's what happened as I clicked away, didn't I? Okay, so that's probably high enough. Okay, I'm not going to be perfectly exact here. And this is now actually starting to look like a bit like our picture here. What are we missing though? Okay, so at the moment it's sort of like a solid, kind of slightly boring looking shape. Maybe what we could do is we could make some parts of it transparent. Maybe we could think about as well if there's going to be a door on this somehow. So what I could do in this instance is maybe first of all let's put in a door, or let's put in a gap where maybe we could actually draw a door on. So I'm going to go back to my square tool or my rectangle tool, and I'm going to go across to this face. In actual fact, I'm not going to do that, scratch that. I'm going to use the offset tool again, and I'm going to create a door, and I'm going to once again do 20 on my distance. I could do this all around actually, but I want to just do a door first, and maybe what I'll do afterwards is I'll do some of this. You've got this sort of transparent netting, don't you, so that the child can look out. So what I'm going to do to make this into a door, or I can just say this is a door. I suppose I could put a handle on it, and say that there's a hinge on there somewhere as well. So maybe we could just draw on a hinge. You need to have hinges on your door. I'm not being too exact with my hinges. I'm going to go back here. Yes, we do have a circle shape. Put a little doorknob on there. It doesn't actually have to be, I'm going to press escape to get out of that. It doesn't actually have to be a sort of an opening door. That's not the sort of thing that you're able to get on SketchUp anyway. Let me just select the circle because I want to just bring that out a bit with the push-pull. And what I like about SketchUp though is that you can actually start to draw again on something you've already drawn. Let's see if I get the option here. Right. I should really try and find the center, but I'm just going to draw on the face. And let's just push pull this out as well. You have to kind of do this in two parts. You can actually push this out a little bit more so it looks a bit more convincing. So there you go, you've got a little door there. Okay, maybe you'd make the handle slightly different, maybe make it so that it's large enough for an adult to hold, but not for a child to be able to get their hand around to really get that torque to actually open a door. And I'm going to go back to my offset. I'm going to do my 20 again. So 20 is down there in the distance, you can see it happening. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to render the entire thing. When I say render, I mean I'm going to add kind of materials and shapes and things like that to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just do a couple of sides, just for illustration purposes only. Before I do that though, I think I'll get some measurements on this. So if I was to go to the workshop tomorrow, which I'd love to do but I can't do, I would have measurements here that I could use. You can even go in, let's zoom in, and we can actually put diameters on things and radiuses on things. Okay, so you can just absolutely put measurements on everything. And I like to do this before I do the rendering because sometimes it can get a bit confused. So let's go to the materials. We're going to the paint bucket now. What have we got? Can we expound on this a bit? Okay. We can do a little search. Let's go back to home. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got user list. Okay. Details. Okay, we've got just these limited colors. Let's have a look through. 3D warehouse, we don't want that. We don't want components. We want colors, we want textures. Styles. Just feel like I'm opening more windows here. Okay, get rid of these as well, right? Paint bucket tool. Select a materials library using drop down in materials browser. Okay, components, materials. Right. Okay, is this the drop down here? No, it says purge and use materials. Search. Ah, here we go. Okay, glass and mirrors. Oh, this is really kind of expanded. Synthetic surfaces. Let's see if we've got some netting. No. What I usually use for things which I want to make them see-through. Let's have a look down here. No, I'm not interested in any of those. I usually use things like glass because you can kind of get transparent things. Okay, this kind of looks like good netting. Yeah, that's good. So it kind of, you can see through. You look through. Possibly you can kind of edit the transparency of it. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, you can do styles as well. That's really cool. Right, okay, so let's try some different ones. No. Okay. That one's a bit more see-through. Glass and mirrors. Window coverings, what's this? Okay, oh, blinds. So they're kind of quite photorealistic, some of these. But I'm going to go for that. You can just about make out the edge, and it's a hollow edge because I've push-pulled it, and it's kind of push-pulled it as a tube. So you can see through, you can see the actual frame there on the inside. On the outside I might just use a colour, let's use pink. And there you go, you start to have quite a nice realistic looking playpen for the little one. Alright, so safe and comfortable home, Sketchup, playpen. There's lots of things that you could add to this, there's lots of things that you could change. Possibly you could even go to 3D warehouse on here, which I think is free. And you could, where's the 3D warehouse? Oh no, that's the instructor, so it gives you lots of how to do videos. Where's the 3D warehouse? It's gonna try and upgrade you all the time, stuff like that. It's in here somewhere, and you could maybe even find a little baby to go in there. I don't know. Okay, we'll have fun with that. Just a recap of some of the main things that we did. We used the sort of rectangle tool. We used the line tool. We erased the lines we didn't need. We used push-pull. We used the offset button. We used the circle tool. We used the materials tool. And we used the dimensions tool. So have a go at that. You could make maybe a square shaped. You could even try doing a circle shaped one. but do use that offset because it's really good to get up a very thin wall on something. Alright, and have fun with that. Alright, I'll be back again with my next video soon.